Hey queers, it's me, Russell Ray. Welcome to the show, LGBTQ. Let's get better together, queers. Today on the show, we're going to talk to you about how you can start your Airbnb and maximize your dollar with what you're making right now. So please welcome to the show. We have Braulio and Smeet, real estate investors and Airbnb owners. How are you all doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's Halloween season, which is my favorite season, the only season of the year. I don't know. I don't know
see
about
it.
this Christmas. I don't know about this anything else, but Halloween is the season. And the biggest question right out the gate that we all have for you is, well, first let me put your titles up. The biggest question I have for you out the gate, and what everyone wants to know is, how much do people need to get started in the Airbnb business? What is the cost? What is the total out-of-pocket expense? And what are they looking to take out of their bank accounts?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having us. I appreciate the invite. That's a loaded question to begin with, because this may not be the answer you want to hear, but it really depends. The minimum down payment you actually need is 3%.
Okay.
I'm a real estate agent here in LA as well. So I get this question a lot from many people looking to buy and who are interested in figuring out what they need to get going and get started on the house or Airbnb or whatever you want. So my response is usually 3%. What people forget to remember is that you also have to take into account another 2 or 3% extra of the purchase cost we're talking about. And that will go towards closing costs.
Yes.
Correct. So that's to pay your lender, your title, escrow, and all those other things.
So with escrow, closing costs, everything, we're looking at 6%. So since you're real estate here in Los Angeles, you all live in the neighborhood. I live right down the street from you. We're in Long Beach, California. The average house is roughly about $950,000-ish. What is someone looking, if they want to buy a $950,000 Airbnb house and they have excellent credit? Let's not go to excellent, because you know, some people like to spend money and get into debt. So we're going to say good credit. If you have good credit, 6% on back end, on the front end and the back end, because you need the 3 and 3. What are they looking at? What are they looking at to get into a property?
Right. So that's basically it. So, I mean, if we run the numbers, I literally have my calculator, pull it out really quick. So 6% of 900,000, we're looking at 55K roughly, just to get into the house. Now, there's always ways to cut that number down.
How do we cut it down?
It could also go up. So in our case, for example, we were able to get closing costs paid for by the seller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a hard thing to do?
Depends on the market.
Because it has to be buyers or sellers, right? It's like one or the other. One is a closing cost.
Yes and no. I know these are very ambiguous questions, but we bought our place in February of 2023.
Okay.
When interest rates were going up. So you could argue it was a little bit more of still a seller's market because of our inventory so low in California. But buyer had a little bit of a upper hand because nobody wanted to buy at the moment because of the interest rates. Plus, the house that we were looking into has been on the market for a year. So we're looking at it as a troubled home.
So is this a term? Okay, so is this what people should be looking for if the property has been on the market for, I believe it's longer than 90 days, right? Then you start to decrease in the asking price, or then you can start to negotiate more. Is that what it is?
All these answers depends. Every situation is different. You have to make sure that you have a good real estate agent with you.
How do you find a good real estate agent?
You can call me.
And where do they find you? Tell us.
On Instagram, everywhere. Very easy to find online. You can find me on Braulio, at Braulio Sales on Instagram.
Okay, and y'all look, this is how you spell his name. Braulio Sales?
Yes, Braulio Sales.
SELLS.
Sales. Okay, Braulio Sales on Instagram. Hit him up. He will get you started. So right now we're at $56,000.
Yeah.
To just get into the place at $950,000. That's at $950,000, y'all. Don't go and try. Everybody who wants to be a billionaire and thinking that they're going to go buy a $5 million house with $56,000 down, you are outside of your mind. We're starting at $56,000. Okay. So we're at the $56,000 mark. Now, what is the rehab cost? And for your specific property, what was the rehab cost and how much did it cost you to stage the place, get it painted, get it ready, and get it set up to start renting out on Airbnb?
Yeah, so like 54,000 or 55,000 is like the way to just get into the house. Just get the keys and then that's it, right? That is what the 55K is gonna get you. Now, for Airbnb, there's, as you said, a lot of other costs like getting it rehabbed, getting it furnished, getting the photos taken, etc., etc. But in terms of getting it rehabbed, for us, it was approximately around 35K because the property was on the market for a long time, 1 year, right? And
Uh-huh.
we did not know why that was as well. But then one thing that we did was have multiple inspectors go in and inspect the house so that we were able to really understand what was wrong with the property and why people are not going for it.
Okay.
We were able to get multiple contractors go in and check the place and get us a quote. So that is where we landed up with the contractor that we worked with. And that's where the price was around 25 to 30K. We had some plumbing issues. We had some issues with the roof. We had some mold in the house, so that had to be cleaned out.
Oh, not
And
the
then
mold. Please
It
tell me,
was-
was there any asbestos? Please tell me that there was not an ounce of asbestos.
it was not. It was not.
Okay, good.
So that was a good thing. It is an old Spanish revival house, so we thought that would be an issue, but it actually wasn't, luckily. But since it was old, we had to do a lot of things like paint the whole house inside out. Also, you have to make sure that there's good curb appeal, so it looks good from not just inside but also from the outside because of the photos for Airbnb, etc., etc. So there's just a lot of other things that we had to consider.
Okay, so the numbers I'm looking at right now are, we have 56,000, and then how much you say was out of pocket to get started with the Airbnb? Because right now I'm at 91,000.
I have two answers for you. And there's two ways we can take this moving forward.
Let's talk about it.
We can continue with the hypothetical case of the 900,000 home, or we can actually tell you the numbers that we have.
Let's talk about your numbers. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your numbers?
There you go.
The house that we found, and this is all like anybody can see it because this is all public information anyway. But our house sold for $417,500.
That is a steal. How many bedrooms?
2 bedrooms, 1 bath.
2 bedroom. Perfect. That's exactly what you need in a vacation home. Okay,
Yeah.
so 2 bedroom,
We're
1
looking,
bath.
yeah, single family home in Long Beach.
Single family home. How far are you from the water?
Like a
5-minute drive.
5-minute drive.
Not
yeah.
far.
Perfect. Okay, y'all. So how much was it for?
417K was the purchase price.
Okay, and then
Put
we're 5 minutes
3%
from the
down.
water. How much
from
did
the
you put down?
water? 2 bed, 1 bath, 800 square feet.
Okay.
Like 12,000.
We put around 12,500.
Yeah.
Around 12,500 down. And Braulio, our real estate agent, was able to help us negotiate the closing costs.
Mhm.
So we did not have many closing costs. Actually, no closing costs.
Okay.
And then we had the the rehab cost that was around 35K for us, including literally everything that had to be done in the house, from floor, plumbing, everything.
And then staging. So staging was roughly 12 to 15, I think. I would say 15 for each of the numbers.
Staging, this means, but staging, for those who don't know this, there's 2 different types of staging. So there's 2 where you bring someone in and they just they put their own furniture in there to take the photos for the house, and then they remove everything. But when you talk about staging, you're talking about everything that you placed into this house to get it started. Okay.
Yeah,
so I just want to make that clear so that everyone doesn't think like, hey, I looked up staging online and it was $12,000. What are you talking about? $12,000 just to put people's borrowed furniture in my house?
That's true. That's my real estate brain. That's my agent brain going staging to sell a house.
No, you're totally good. You're fine. But I just want to be clear with that. So $12,000 to furnish it and get it ready to go on market. Get it ready to go on market.
Right.
Yeah, and we have like a number. So I would say for what we did, it was around $15 to $20 per square feet. That would be a good number to go with when you're estimating your costs to furnish your place.
Yeah.
But to be honest, a lot of our things, we didn't go and purchase a lot of new things. Like we got stuff from OfferUp, from Facebook Marketplace,
for random warehouses
TJ Maxx, random warehouses in LA. Like there's so many of them that sell to bigger places like Target and stuff. But then they have these warehouses where there's like extra stuff that's stored and they sell it for super cheap. And we got all of these warehouse numbers and everything from OfferUp. Actually, there's like a lot of advertisements that they just put out, and it looks pretty scammy, but it actually worked out for us really well.
Yeah, they were legit.
So when you find these warehouses, what are your safety precautions when it comes to buying furniture from some, because obviously there's no receipt, right?
Mhm.
There's no returns. It's you take it as is, which just like if you're buying a house, you have it inspected and then you take it as is after that because you've agreed to all the terms and conditions of what this house is like.
Right.
After you either negotiate a roof allowance or any other allowances and everything, at the end of the day, you're still taking it as is. So same thing when it comes to OfferUp. You're coming to buy this furniture, these pieces of art that you're putting through your house. So what are your safety precautions that you suggest when you're going and you're looking online for OfferUp items?
Yeah, I mean, whenever we've gone for like these warehouse kind of things, we have never bought any electronics from them. It's
Okay.
mostly something that is very tangible that you can see that if it's a sofa or if it's a couch, you can just sit on it and check if it actually does not break. Or
Okay.
if there's a fake plant, you just see if it looks good. If it looks good, it's great, you know, it doesn't fall apart. But most of our electronics are new. Only the things that are like the dining table was one of our friends gifted that to us, so that was something that we got secondhand. Looked great, it's pretty sturdy, so that's one of the things that we check for. As long as it's not going to break, it's good for us.
Yeah, I would say just to pick up off of that, if it's anything, if it's a big ticket item that you know is going to be heavily used, consider cost per use, right? And sometimes, or most times, it will make sense to buy it new. But if it's way too expensive for what you want and you really want a particular item to fit a style that you're going for a particular Airbnb, then it is a good idea to look outside the box and look into these other websites. But one, always go with someone, don't go alone. And two, make sure you do your research, read the reviews. A lot of these people get reviews on OfferUp already from other buyers. So a lot of the times that helps to establish some type of rapport because you don't know this person. And if they have good reviews, that means, you know, they're serious and you probably wouldn't have any problems with the items you buy. And just, you know, your gut feeling will tell you and will guide you in the right direction most times. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Okay,
so obviously don't like everything is on the internet now, including dating and everything else is all included. So again, so like your tips are be safe, go with someone else, read the reviews just like you would on Amazon and see if the buyer is dependable and see if they follow through and if their products are what they claim they are. Okay. And then we're roughly at where, okay, so right now with your all in for your down payment of the 12,000 and your staging of that was additional 12,000.
12 to 15K. And then we had around 35K of rehab costs.
Okay.
So in total, we had around 60K.
Yeah.
Okay. So 60,000 all in.
All in
for us.
Okay. So with that being said, what was your biggest money pit when it came to all those expenses? Like what was the one thing that was you couldn't avoid it and it was just nonstop and you kept having to throw money at it? What was it?
In our case, definitely renovation. Because there's always, when you put together your renovation budget, always factor in a contingency and a cushion of around 10 to 20%.
Okay.
There's always something that will come up that you didn't anticipate for. It could be a big thing or it could be a small thing, but there will always be something that you didn't know you're going to have to pay for. In our case, we had to redo a whole floor. Like we had to lift up a whole section of our floor in one of the rooms. So we had to create a new subflooring.
Okay.
That was expensive.
Yeah.
So that's not a DIY type of project. That is like you're calling in a contractor or you're calling in an architect.
Exactly.
But Smeet, you have an engineering background. So were you able to save any money on that aspect and be like, hey, I'm going to get in here with them? Or wait, Braulio's looking away like, oh, no.
No, to be honest, like we were so like this is a tiring process. So anybody that's seeing this, you guys are going to need some energy to go through this whole process because for those 2 or 3 months, we were kind of pretty MIA because of the amount of work that there was. So I was like, the more that we can outsource things, the better it was for us, for our mental health as well. So a lot of these things our contractor was just able to take on for us and, you know, give us, you know, we are giving him more work. He was giving us more discounts. So that worked for us.
Yeah. But I mean, when it comes to fixing a house, if you don't know how to do it, you can always find a way to DIY it. we're not handled like that.
Yeah, but no, I did put all the curtain rods and like things that had to be drilled in. I learned some things, so
Okay.
like we saved money on those and time on those things. But like bigger things like changing, like doing electrical
plumbing.
stuff or plumbing or getting the floors raised,
Mhm.
that I would 100% give it to a contractor.
Yeah, I would not even attempt
Yeah.
to do that.
Where did you find your contractors? Because in today's times, there can be a lot of shady contractors who will take your deposit, which I've worked in the industry and I've done some DIY and I've flipped some homes. So obviously you don't pay anything until they show up for their first date. And at that, they're getting a deposit. They're not getting the whole thing. So where did you find your contractors?
Yeah, so I guess here's where my real estate background really came in handy, because I already had all those connections in the back of my pocket for my clients. So again, your real estate agent is a team member that you're going to be in constant communication with from the moment you're interested in the house, probably depending on the agent, up until you go live on Airbnb and beyond. So reach out to your agent. Your agent will know people that they trust and that worked with in the past. And then ask your friends and family, because referral business and word of mouth is usually the best way to go. And if you don't know anybody, you don't know an agent, and you don't want to do that, you can always just go online and go off of reviews. But my first thing would be reach out to your real estate agent or me, and then I'll connect you anywhere in the US or the world. Actually, I can make it happen for you.
So how long, when it came to everybody that was working on your house, what was your time frame that you were out of commission from the time you closed to the time from the time you started escrow until the time you actually got the property up on Airbnb?
Oh,
that would be, let's open the calendar.
Yeah, we have a calendar here. So
we're doing the calendar, baby. They are looking into the calendar. Y'all are getting the live.
You want to give them the most
receipts,
accurate information.
Receipts are here. Okay,
receipts.
So we closed on February 2023. So this year we closed February 15th.
What was the date? Because we have to know if your house is an Aquarius or an Pisces.
Wednesday, February 15th.
An Aquarius, of course. Yeah. For everybody out there, they know I'm an Aquarius, so this is a beautiful thing. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Escrow was 3 weeks. We closed really quickly on the house.
Oh, nice.
2 or 3 weeks. It was
very quick. And I think you can tell us the reasons why it was quick, just because things were a bit.
Yeah, I guess this is important. Because escrows can be as quickly as like 2 weeks, but it could go longer if you don't have all your paperwork ready. Just make sure that your lender has all the documents that you need, so that they can process the loan quickly and get things going. Because if you have everything prepped, then 2 weeks you're done.
Yeah.
So file your taxes, have your tax returns, have your bank statements. What else are we looking at?
Your credit report.
Don't
get cars. Don't buy expensive stuff while you're in escrow.
Don't buy anything. When should be the latest that you should buy a vehicle if you need to prior to buying a house? Are we talking 6 months? A year before, 2 years before?
It depends on your other debts and your loan to value ratio.
You need revolving debt, correct?
No.
So so that zero debt is okay.
Yeah, I mean, as long as your credit score is good.
Okay, cool. So like I've always been told that your credit needs a heartbeat. So you always need not charge ups, but you need to put something on there, pay it off, put something on there, pay it off. Your credit needs to go like this, like heartbeat wise, meaning like it's showing that it's alive.
I guess, I mean, there's always, if it works for you and your credit is good, I think that's fine. But in our case, we didn't have any revolving debt.
We didn't have any revolving debt, just like the credit card usually that we have.
Yeah.
But there were no big debts or anything.
Okay.
No crazy revolving debts. As long as I feel for me, and for the both of us, the thing that worked was having a good credit score. That just makes a lot of difference.
Yeah.
And y'all. So have good credit. Let me zoom in on myself, because let me just tell these people, because look, take care of your credit, have good credit. Your credit is everything. Do not co-sign for anybody. Do not co-sign for no one that you are not willing to pay off their vehicles. And if you don't have the money in the bank to pay it off, because let me tell you, if they mess up your credit, it's going to take a minute to fix. So again, have some money in the bank. So we're looking at about $60,000 out of pocket, rehab and staging costs, and don't buy anything until after you close escrow. And where are we at now? So what month did we start? to,
And
or
we
when did
went
you start on
live-
Airbnb?
Right, we went live on Airbnb April 6th.
Oh, 2 months is not
2
bad.
months.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So just
months.
under 8 weeks.
Right.
Exactly.
It's a quick flip. Well,
Okay, nice.
renovation.
Yeah.
Now, have you broken even yet on your money that you put out versus what you've made so far?
Great question. Everybody wants to hear a yes. But
Same.
it is, so it really depends on your market, right?
Okay.
Long Beach is not that bad a market when
Okay.
doing Airbnb. We would probably break even in like 3 or 3.5 years
Mhm.
because it's a very seasonal market in Long Beach. Summers are great months. And then as soon as it goes into fall, it starts, like, you start seeing a dip. But for us, like, we have seen in the low season, I would say around 0 to 1K worth of cash flow. And then
Okay.
in the high seasons, which is like mostly the summer months, it's around 1K to 2.5K of cash flow coming in.
So this is after you've made your house payment.
Yes, this is after all of our expenses. So
Okay.
it's the cash flow that's coming in.
Because you have the cleaning expense from Airbnb, you have the fee that they take, and then you have to make obviously your mortgage. So you're looking at 1,000. No, how much you say in a good month?
Around, like, you either break even with your mortgage and expenses, or you make around $1,000. So between that range, you would
Okay.
make in a low season, and in a high season, it would be around $1,000 to $2,500
For our particular case.
for our case.
Okay.
Yes.
Which is good. So just because you haven't broken even yet doesn't mean you're not making a profit yet. So you still
There you
have
go.
some sort of cash flow. Now,
Mhm.
do you spend this cash? Do you save this cash? Are you looking to put it towards another property? Is this going into a savings? Is it like we are not spending a dime until we get to that $60,000 mark?
No, our first goal is to get to a place where the house has its own emergency fund of around
Okay.
3 to 6 months, because things happen.
Yes.
And we're about to get into the rainy season in LA. Last year, a lot of homes saw the effects of the rain. I really remember last year.
Yes.
So you always gotta save some money because your house will need TLC and regular maintenance. So we want that first. That's our first goal. And then after that, any money that we're getting in profit from the Airbnb, we're basically putting it in a pot for the next home.
Okay. And so when it comes to money, and it comes, like you stated, you have to have a little bit of TLC issues when it comes to any property, just in general. Is it true, and is it rule of thumb that you should always put 1% of your home's worth into your property every year?
Yeah, that's a pretty good standard rule in business. Yeah.
Okay, so for anybody that wants to get into the real estate empire of purchasing properties, minimum of 1% should go of what your property is currently worth should go into that property, so you can maintain it, so you don't have, what would you say, broken pipes, or if you have to replace the roof, at least that money is always there.
Right.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay.
Also electronics and everything, things can just rumble
Constantly
anytime.
updating internet.
There you go.
Personally, just from my own experience, when we remodeled my mom's house, we had to replace the piping, we had to redo the wires, and like my cousin and I did this, and we got all the approvals to the city. So if you
Wow,
guys are looking
good
for
job.
I know. Next time we
You
know.
should have
free to
come
call
to
your
our
boy.
house. Where were you?
Look, call me hot and handy. I will be there with my tool belt. Okay.
All right. Got your number.
Done.
Okay. Now, going into my next question, where can people save? Like, looking back at your personal experience and your property, where were places that you spent money that you would look back and say, you know what, we could have cut a corner here and we could have saved some money here. So what was your areas that you learned this first time around where you would save on the next time?
I would say, so I'm gonna flip this question, where you should not save.
Where you should not save.
Because,
Okay.
yeah, where you should not save money. For one of the first things as you begin to start doing your start your Airbnb journey would be market research. Do not save money on it. Like, there's a lot of resources out there like AirDNA, where you should put your money in to do a good amount of market research to see what other Airbnbs are doing around you, what is the amount of money coming in, etc. So that actually helped us a lot because we were able to get a very good idea of what the high months, what the low months are, and that has been pretty consistent with what our market research was. So do not save money on market research and do a good amount of it's kind of like a business cost or business expense that's a good one to spend on.
Okay.
Another thing would be photographs. Airbnb or any sales, to be honest, works on good photos. What shows is what sells. So for us, it was very, very important to find a good photographer. And we follow a lot of, like, we learned a lot of our things from YouTube channels like Raw Build. Then there is Real Estate Robinsons. We learned a lot of things from them, and the photographer that did our photos for Airbnb actually came through the recommendation from one of those YouTube channels. And we are probably not going to look for any other photographers because he's great. He has done an amazing job on this one, and for the future ones, he's probably going to be the one.
And I use him for my clients too.
There you go.
Okay, good. So hopefully they're going to pay you 10% now when people see this and say, hey, I saw Braulio and Smeet and they said to contact you.
Referral coin.
So every view that we get, we're going to go ahead and just send that bill right over and say 10%. 10% of the views should be 10% in Smeet and Braulio's pocket, but that's just my personal preference.
There you go.
Okay, so where to not save money? Do your market research.
Yeah.
Where would you save? Where would you save money with the actual space itself? What did you overindulge in that you thought it either got messed up along the way with renters and so it wasn't worth the money, or it's something that is just not used as much, so it's just kind of one of those things that's more of an accent piece than it is an actual functional piece?
Yeah, I think in our case, I would say that it would be because our place has a lot of white beddings. So we initially wanted to have the best quality of things, but then you have to realize that are you in a luxury Airbnb market, are you in an economy Airbnb market, or are you somewhere in the middle, right? So if you're in a luxury Airbnb market, people are going to expect you to have Egyptian cotton sheets, everything that's of the highest quality because they're paying the highest buck for it. But for us, our Airbnb would come somewhere more closer to it's a mid-range Airbnb, more closer to the economy side. So that was something where we spent some good money on getting good quality of beddings, where you could save some money on and still get good quality of beddings. It's not that it's gonna matter as much because the quality overall is gonna be your sleep is not gonna be affected by it.
And people will mess up your sheets.
Yep.
Like there's no more.
Yeah, we've had kids that have had that are made
all the things you're thinking plus all of this stuff.
Yeah, all of things, all of those things plus the kids having the pens and markers in their hand and just scribbling on the sheets.
Okay, so with that being said, when it comes to damages, are Airbnb guests responsible to replace those, or does that come with the territory of owning an Airbnb, or does it depend?
It depends of the type of host that you're talking to. In our case, we see it as a business expense. So we're fine. I mean, we don't go after our guests for $20, fitted sheet. So we just cover that up front and we just replace it. But we have our cleaning person tell us, when we have to replace stuff. There's other hosts who will charge for everything.
I would assume that they don't get good ratings, though.
Well, that will happen after, though, because the rating works is that it's an anonymous rating, and both people have to rate each other before the rating goes public. But in the background, the host can process what do you call this? Like a claim.
Yeah. And it goes through. So Airbnb has its own insurance called Air Cover, and all of the listings on Airbnb are covered under that insurance.
Oh, nice.
So whatever happens, especially if you're a super host, you get a faster access to Air Cover, and they make sure that you're taken care of. There's no issues in that sense. But we've had one instance where somebody had tripped on our window and the window broke. It already had a tiny crack on it, but then now it completely shattered.
Yeah, it was gone.
Your window?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, how high is this window, first of all?
It's a regular window.
It's a regular size window, in our dining room. But to give it, like, yeah, so it was an older window because this house is
Oh,
old, right? So
yes,
there are
single
some
pane.
new windows, some old windows, so
Got
they
it.
weren't
It was a
replaced.
single pane
It
window.
was a single pane
Yes,
window.
we have single pane
But
windows here, and we have double pane windows as well. So like
there you go.
It's
here in
very
my
big.
house, it's Spanish style. So we have like this single pane window that has the
Exactly.
French doors.
Mhm.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
That was
that
one of those.
happened to us, right? And then
Mhm.
we went to air cover, and then we put the photos and everything. We got our quotes from different people to get it replaced. And air cover was pretty fast. They worked first. I think one of the first thing they do is go to the guest, and the guest is like, I don't think it was my fault, blah blah. It
Mhm.
wouldn't even come to us. We would get our money anyways through the
Mhm.
insurance.
Okay.
But that's how it went for us. It was a very quick and easy process when it came to the insurance from Airbnb.
Yeah.
I would be more concerned of how long this is going to put you out of. So does that insurance cover how many days you're out of commission? It doesn't.
Wait, no, don't quote me. I
Okay.
think it might. I don't know. I'll have to double check.
Yeah, we
Is
might
it,
have to double check that.
I would assume it depends on if it's booked or not at the time.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah, I think that
yeah,
sounds right.
in our case, like we were pretty much booked for 3 weeks from that date, like when the incident happened.
Okay.
So what we did was we called in a contractor and asked them to what do you call it when you
board up
board up the window. So the
Okay.
window was completely boarded up. So and then one of the other things that we actually really do always is to communicate with our future guests on whatever's wrong. Like if the washer is not working, we let them know. If the window's broken, we let them know. So we
Okay.
let them know, and we were like, "Are you guys still okay with living here? If not, we'll give you a full refund. Whatever, it's our
Mhm.
fault."
Mhm.
But most of our guests have really been so good. Like they were completely fine with having it boarded up. No issues at all in that sense. So yeah, we've been
Yeah.
lucky
Yeah.
in terms of the guests
So
that we've
my next couple questions are going to be they're kind of two in one. So what is your demographic that you aim to achieve? So I know you were saying you're in the in-between market, but is it a lot of younger individuals that are renting from you, or is it more in their mid 30s, early 40s? Are we looking at snowbirds that are coming down from Canada? So that's the first one. And the second question would be, how long did it take to actually start receiving consistent bookings on your property?
Okay. I guess I could take on that one. Our Airbnb is targeted towards families,
Mhm.
people with pets, families of all ages, but it could also target like young professionals. Like we've had some older guests too.
Yeah, we've
like,
had older guests
the whole
coming
gamut
for
of
like
guests.
Long Beach has like a big cruise port, so like a lot of people that come for
Hmm.
like holidays or they want to board the ship next day, they would book
Okay.
our place.
Yeah.
A lot of them have been older individuals, but we've had kids or not kids, sorry, like around like 18 to 22 years of age group where they come
Okay.
to like because there's a lot of events that happen in Long Beach, like EDM concerts
Hmm.
and conferences.
Grand
So like
Prix.
young individuals would come to stay for a night or two for that event or whatever conference they're coming for.
Right. We had a lot of tourists that come for Disneyland. And
Yeah, Disneyland, Universal.
Oh, Disneyland.
Because Long Beach is situated in the middle between OC and LA, right?
Yes.
So Disneyland is in OC. A lot of people, when they come to LA, they want to see all of it. They want to see Disneyland, OC, the beaches down there. But then they also want to see Hollywood and Santa Monica. So then a lot of people anchor in Long Beach because it's right in the middle.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that from firsthand experience. We do have a friend who flew in from the East Coast. We're staying in Palm Springs and wanted to do LA in one day, and they hit Beverly Hills, they hit Santa Monica, Venice Beach. They hit it all, and we let them know, hey, you have to be out the house at this time in the morning to get from Palm Springs to LA.
Yeah.
And you have to stay out in LA until this time so that you're not hitting traffic all the way home, because this is a 2.5 hour drive each way at least.
Yeah.
So that's a good note there. That also would have come along with your market research, right? Of this is how many events come on. Now, do you set an inflated price when it comes to EDM weekends, or do you have a standard price? How does pricing work? Who chooses it, and when do you decide to spark it or spike it? Who spikes it? Is it you? Is it Airbnb? Do they suggest it? All those analytical questions.
Do you want me to go before we move on to that? Do you want me to answer the previous question about
Sorry, I'm moving quick. My bad.
You just gave me, what was it? How long it take us to get this consistent
Yes,
book?
a consistent business flow.
So we time. Luckily, for us it timed nicely because when we went live on Airbnb, it was like right at the beginning of the high season. So we went live on the 6th of April, and our first booking was on the 8th of April.
Okay.
And ever since then, we've had literally
like 85
nonstop,
to
like,
90%
yeah.
occupancy on
Wow.
the Airbnb.
turnover. Yes, it's one party after another party.
Yeah.
So
And the neighbors
Yeah,
have been
it's
cool with you so far.
Hmm?
The neighbors in the neighborhood, they've been cool with the Airbnb.
Yes, they've all been really wonderful. Part of that is to also let your neighbors know,
Okay.
right? Because you're coming in, if you haven't lived in the property before, you're coming in, as a new entity, a business now into a residential neighborhood. So it's important to be mindful of the community you're entering. And so in our case, we have a very narrow street, which is it's basically a dead end.
Okay.
And so our street is very residential. It looks and feels nothing like a residential street in the US. It almost feels like you're like somewhere like
in South America.
Spain,
or
I was looking at the photos and it looked like something that or a place that I would actually stay in Puerto Vallarta. Is what
there
it
you
looked
go.
like.
Yeah.
It was very bungalow style, like it's very cute, very
quaint.
I don't want to say like it's very like welcome, it's very homey.
Yes,
like community
it
ridden,
does.
right? For lack of a better word, I'm trying to find the best word to say, but like it's very homey and it looks like the community is all tight knit.
They all
that is why they know each other, and that was one of the things. So one of the things we did was have a good rapport with all of our neighbors. They're all very good people, so it wasn't that difficult for us to merge into that group.
Yeah, so we personally introduced ourselves, told them who we are, what we were doing. I gave them my business card. I told them, if anything happens, I'm your first point of contact. I'm always here 24/7 for whatever you guys need, in case if anybody's throwing a rager in the house, we need to know. So just make it personable, make yourself available, and make sure that the owner, your neighbors, know who you are, because at the end of the day, they're gonna keep eyes on your property whether you like it or not. So it's always good to have them on your good side.
Speaking of eyes, all eyes on you, Smeet. You actually have a short film that's going around right now. And speaking of festivals, it's going around the film festival. That's called Where's My Spot? Can you tell us more about that? How did this all get started? Where did you find the passion to start shooting this? And how is it doing right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So my film is called Where's My Spot? It's basically about...
Oh my God. I have the wrong slide up. There we go. I was like, where can they say? What is this? Okay, no, Where's My Spot? Okay, go ahead.
Where's My Spot? It's about a young expat from India that's in the US now, trying to find a job, just graduated, and he's trying to get over this hurdle of visa issues and whatnot. Everything in his life is kind of based on luck. And so the short film is trying to show all of those hurdles, not just of my own hurdles as well that I faced as a non-immigrant in the US, but also of a lot of my other friends as well. So it's kind of like a compilation of all the things that I've heard from my friends, my personal experiences, into one 13.5-minute short film.
And 13 and a half minutes TRT, which is a runtime. Are you starring in this?
I am starring. So I am the actor, director, producer, and the writer of the short film.
Okay.
And we had a crew of around 15 people. It was shot in Long Beach and Orange County, in multiple locations. But I feel like, going back to your earlier question on where I found the motivation for it, was I hadn't seen any stories like that before. And being an actor, especially not on a visa that especially not on a visa that allows me to work as an actor in the US. It was something where I was like, I want to create opportunity for myself as an actor, but also create opportunities for other young people that are just coming into the industry. So a lot of the people in my film, a lot of my crew and cast, most of them are young people, but also people of color, queer people. So it was just giving opportunities to everybody that, I would have loved to get an opportunity like that.
Now is the actors strike affecting you right now? Are you part of SAG?
I am not a part of SAG, so it is not affecting me right now. And also all of the people that were a part of my crew, they were non-SAG, so all of them were non-union. So that also helped create a film, the type of film that I wanted to create, just to have people not a part of the union, but also from from the very early stages of their career, because not everybody gets into SAG that quick.
So now that you produce this, now that you produce and directed and starred in this short film, where does it go from here after it goes to the festival circuit?
Sure.
Wow, let me just get my words out. Where does it go from here, and what is your hope that this is going to flow into? Are you hoping that this is going to get picked up and it's going to be a bigger story, or do you get an agent and do they shop it out? Where does it go from here after it hits the festival circuit?
Yeah, so initially, so very honestly, initially my reason to make the short film was to get my face out there as an actor, but also as a director and a writer. But since I've gone to the film festivals where my film was screened, I feel like I've met so many people, and that has changed the way that I look at my short film. And initially, one of the reasons was to get my face out there, but also another reason in the back of my mind was to also try and see if I can create this into a bigger feature or something, to make more contacts in the industry, meet new people, directors, producers, and see if I can pitch it to them. And I was able to actually meet a couple directors, producers, which are very close friends now, through these festivals. But also I was able to meet aggregators, distributors, and managers. So it's just been a good experience going through the festival circuit route, because I was just able to meet so many people that have shown interest.
How do you produce the funds for something like this? For anybody else who wants to get started, was this based off of, did you write a script? So you do have a script.
Yeah, so I have the script, very similar to the Airbnb business. You just need to start saving up for a film. If that's something that is something that I did. I started saving up for it, and once I had like a small budget, I'm a first time director producer, and that was my short film, a debutante. So like I had no idea how much money is going to go into it. So once I created my team, and most of my team is actually from Instagram, I just like cold messaged people that I wanted to work with, and some of them got back to me and some of them did not, but that is how it worked. And then we were able to work out on a rate, and then I was able to get like the fixed expense of it. And I was like, okay, if this fits within my budget, I'm gonna go greenlight this project for myself. But if it does not, then I'll save up a little more, and then I have my team ready, and we can go from there. But luckily, everything worked out. It was a passion project, so a lot of the people were willing to, kind of like work on a discounted rate, which was great for me, because I was like, it is a passion project, firstly, because it's my story and a lot of my other friends' stories. So yeah, that helped a lot. I'm so grateful for like my whole team. Like they did an amazing job.
So you were busy filming, or like you were also busy filming this. You guys have the Airbnb business. Where do you find time for each other, and how do you put everything else aside and say, hey, this is our moment. We're going to spend time together as a couple? And because there's a lot of people in this industry, especially in Los Angeles, in order to survive over here, you need a regular job, a side job, and embezzlement, which I don't encourage the last one. Or, that'll get you in trouble. So don't do it. But some people do. So how do you support each other's career aspirations as well, but also put those both things aside and make time for each other?
We spend a lot of time.
Very demanding.
Right. Yeah. We spend a lot of time with each other. We both work from home. And live in a 400 square foot studio.
Okay. Talk about cozy.
Our desks are literally next to each other.
Okay. So when Beyonce said cozy, she meant it. Get right next to each other. Get in the space. Make it all happen.
But I mean, it's important to always take, a few minutes or a time during the day to do something that's not related to work, right? So a lot of times, most days actually, we have lunch together.
Yeah. We make sure that we shut down all of our screens, and like the lunchtime is the time when we just spend with each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, apart from that, like we make sure that we have like time for vacation. So we're like, okay, in 2 months, I feel like we're gonna not be as busy as we are right now. So let's book something.
We're always going somewhere. That's true.
So we try to take like either go to meet some family, or just take a vacation, like go to Puerto Vallarta or somewhere, but try to really make sure that we make time for ourselves and our mental health. Otherwise, we would go crazy.
So when's your next planned vacation? Do you have one planned yet?
My mom is coming next week.
There you go. So that's gonna be kind of like a
So that'll be
vacation.
fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our next vacation. Well, the holidays are around the corner.
The holidays are around the
Yes.
corner.
So we're going to the Bay Area,
Mhm.
Okay.
San Francisco Bay Area, to see my family
Yep.
Okay.
Celebrate.
and do sort of Christmas and all that.
Yeah, his grandmother's visiting from Peru, so we want to
Mhm.
spend some more time with her as well. So that's gonna be
That'll
it's
be
gonna be
fun.
kind of like a
Yeah.
vacation.
So what I'm hearing is for the next week, you have open times that people can reach out to you to figure out how they can either buy their first property or get their Airbnb business started. And Schmeats, they can reach out to you in order to get their film career started, or if they need an actor,
There you
non-SAG.
go. Yeah.
So do you plan on being a SAG, or like is that not an
I do plan on
Okay.
being SAG eligible, and then
Okay.
SAG probably later in life, but not
Okay,
right now.
SAG eligible.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Smeet and Braulio, everyone. Tell them where they can find you. Tell them where they can find your Airbnb. I will also link the links in the description later that you all can find and book. But let them know where you're at.
For sure. So you can find me on Instagram. My handle is ismeetdoshi, which is my first name, last name, with an I in the beginning. And
then me, Braulio, Braulio, Cells. That's my Instagram handle, SELLS. Anywhere online, just Google me and you'll see me.
there you go.
And-
And for the Airbnb, there's a
Oh,
link.
yeah.
That's right.
Which we can send you, and you can add it to the.
So I do have your link. I will add it. Is there links attached to your Instagrams that they can click on? Can they find it easily in your bio? Is it anywhere that they can click on it quickly and get there and get booked efficiently? Because
Sure.
like you said, the holidays are coming.
Oh yeah, there you go. We actually don't have a link, but
Hurry if you're thinking of coming to Long Beach.
Yes.
Hurry, because we're already booked for December.
we're already getting booked for December. So hurry up.
So y'all get it while it's hot. Like always, you can find me all over Instagram at Russell X Raymond, or you can find me on the Peacock Network streaming under Create the Escape. I am your builder, host, DIY expert. Until then, we will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.